What's up? So today we will be starting the 100 season 5. So after the ending of season 4, where we saw the gang go into a 6-year time jump, we saw the gang go into a 6-year time jump at the end of season 4. Let's see where season 5 starts off. So season 5 starts off at 42 days after Prime Fire, where we see Clark emerging from the rubble of Becca's lab. And she's kind of all confused and doesn't know what's going on. So she decides to go back to Polis. And she decides to go back to Polis, yeah, to see what's going on. She even bangs on like the building to see if bangs on the bunker to see if anyone's in there, but no answer. This come back in that second episode, but now I'll just say there's no answer. So she decides to she almost tries to take the Jasper way out of shooting herself in the head until a crow flies by. And she sees this green, luscious planet. So she kills the crow and eats it. R.I.P. that crow. It didn't deserve the death it got. So yeah. So Clark's just looking like she sees like a bunch of dead kids until she runs into this little girl who Clark tries to speak Grandra with her, but she's like, yeah, nah, I'm not into this. Then Clark gets caught on a bear trap, which should kill her, but doesn't because Nightblood. So, yeah, Nightblood could be the reason for all of this. Why does Clark not get killed? Nightblood. Why does Clark do anything? Nightblood. It just feels something. So, yeah. Clark and that little girl eventually become best friends, and that would eventually become her daughter that we seen in the last season. Her name is Maddie, and she is Clark's and she's literally Clark's fragile thing because Clark literally wants to protect her. So meanwhile, yeah, so then 6 years pass, and we literally see the exact same scene from the ending of the last episode, except Maddie is now played by a new actress. Literally the exact same scene, except for they changed actresses. Yeah, that's literally what just happened. They played the exact same scene. Clark tells Maddie to get something, but this time she's played by a different actress because the actress from the last season couldn't come back to the scheduling conflicts. So, meanwhile on the Ark, meanwhile on the Ring, not the Ark, why did I say the Ark? It's called the Ring. Meanwhile on the Ring, we see Bellamy has grown a full-face beard. Ooh, Bellamy and his beard. Raven looks completely the same, even though it's meant to be 6 years. And yeah, and Monty now has hair. Doesn't have his bowl cut anymore. So, they're talking about John Murphy. What happened to John Murphy? So then Bellamy decides to go ask John Murphy something until he gets strangled by John Murphy. So, yeah. So Bellamy's like, hey John, you could really join us. But John's like, Murphy's like, I'd rather be by myself. So, yeah. So meanwhile, welcome to the runniest gag of the show. They keep mentioning how Clark is dead. Bellamy mentions about how Clark died for them, but she's not dead. But okay. So yeah. So meanwhile, back on Earth, Clark sees that the ship that she saw at the end of last season, and this time it's a prisoner ship where prisoners come out. We see Commander Diyoza and McCreary and all these other prisoners because they were in cryo sleep for like 100 years, and now they're basically the fish out of waters who have to learn how to learn how to be in society. But they're evil, so they they try to fire at Clark. They try to fire at Clark, but fail. They try to fire at Clark, but fail. So Clark and Maggie basically run away. How was Maggie? Again, how old is she? Is she like 13? Is she like 11 or 12? Or 13? Because based on the actress, who's like 17 by today, this who's like 17 by today, I'm guessing she was like 13, 14 when I guess she was like 15 or 16. Wait, no. 13 or 14 or 15 by this time the show came in. By the time she was on this show. Because if she's 17 now, then yeah. Yeah. Wait. Yeah. So the game decides to get so Clark and Maggie get out of there, and Clark tells Maggie to basically hide under this place where Clark gets captured. Meanwhile, back on the ring, they're all talking what they want to do to get to Earth, but that's when they see a prison ship. That's when they see a prison ship, and they mention how Octavia's fine. Meanwhile, in the bunker, we see a big battle fight going on, and Octavia is sitting there as the Red Queen. Meanwhile, or Blood Reina. So now we go to episode 2, which is all about Octavia and their journey. So during Prime Fire, everyone is discovering what to do when Abby hears banging on the door and tries to see if it's Clark. Obviously it is, but she has no idea, and Kane tries to persuade her from going up there, which Abby's just basically feeling it's Clark. She would know how to get back, but Kane's like, yeah, no, there's no way we know that. So yeah, there's no way we know that. So yeah, so yeah. So meanwhile, we have the gang, and we have our gang of this episode. And there's this big there's this girl named Carter Cooper who's literally just introduced in this season, and only this season, because they really didn't know do with her character. So they literally just have her be in the bunker. So she decides to form a coup against everyone, and Jaha is here, but something happens to him. So yeah. So meanwhile, Octavia not knowing what to do, they want her to take over as commander and wear the commander headpin. But why my eyes always hurt during these videos? But what happens is that they decide to go, so they want her to wear the headpin right here. But she doesn't want to wear the headpin. So what happens is that she decides to be like, are you? So these guys show up, and she's like, we can all be friends. But they're like, no. So she's like, are you one crew or enemy of one crew? So she gets into a big fight where she kills all the enemies of one crew. And then she's like, are you one crew? Are you enemy of one crew? Choose. And gets into a really good fight until everyone's just scared of her too. So this gives Octavia an idea. To start a battle ring where she's kind of like the queen of this place, and yeah, Octavia might be the villain of season 5. Based on what she does in this season. Sorry, let's put on my glasses again. Can't leave it out. based on what Octavia does in this season, she kind of proves herself as kind of the main antagonist. But we'll get to those deeds later on. So yeah, so meanwhile Clark gets captured and is totally put through electroshock therapy, where they literally electroshock her for about an hour. Meanwhile, the gang gets to Earth, and Meanwhile, they discover some cryo chambers, and they discover this video message about a guy, and that's when Dios and the gang woke up and killed him. So, So Raven decides to stay behind. Saying how she'll use the pod to get out, and John stays behind her until Raven realizes, yeah, there's no pod. She just lied to Bellamy so he wouldn't have like a reason to be worriedful. Wow, Raven, you stuck John Murphy with you. So they crash land on Earth. And that's when they're immediately intercepted by Deos' crew. When Maddie comes out of nowhere, killing all those guys, and is like, hey, Clark's in trouble. And Bellamy's like, wait a minute, Clark's alive? And she's like, yeah, let's go. So Bellamy goes with Maddie. Well, yeah, that was so cool scene. Bellamy goes with Maddie, while all the other characters, like, just stand there. So Bellamy's like, yo, Dios, I have a truce for peace. I have a truce for peace. And she's like, okay, why don't I just kill you then? And he's like, well, if you kill me, then I won't have a chance to tell you about what's going on. So yeah, let's have a turn for peace. So they team up with them to get the bunker back. Meanwhile, Blood Reina Octavia is getting Kane to fight. Which fight Kane does, but Octavia says he'll fight again for some odd reason, I guess. But Kane's like, yeah, there's no way I'm fighting. So the next day, Kane decides not to fight. So Octavia's like, oh, if you're gonna fight, I'll fight you myself. Meanwhile, Abby's in solitary confinement because she's a drug addict this season. And Kane said he's doing the drugs, but it's really her. Yeah. Whatever happened during those 6 years caused Abby to turn to drugs. So she's literally the drug addict this season. And Kane took the life for her, so now he's in trouble. So they get into Octavia tries to fight Kane, but that's when Bellamy and the gang show up, and Bellamy hugs Octavia, and she hugs Clark. Yeah. Forgot to mention, Echo and Bellamy are dating now. 6 years have passed, so now they're kind of in a relationship, which kind of makes it awkward, because I wanted Clark and Bellamy to get together. But now, the show decided to ship Echo and Bellamy and make them a couple, because, I don't know. And this causes, some very mixed feelings in Octavia, because she doesn't like Echo, and thinks that doesn't like Echo because of the past. And she wants Echo to be kicked out. So she wants Echo to be kicked out. Meanwhile, Diaz and the gang trick Bellamy and is like, we'll help you, but not really, because they want to get back into their prison ship, and, release all the criminals from the ship. That's their plan. They want to release all the criminals from the ship. So, but they need a doctor, so they kidnap Clark's mom, who, again, is taking pills, which she shouldn't, but she is. And they're like, hey, if you work for us, we'll give you more of your pills. So So she kidnaps them, and what does Octavia do? Blame Bellamy, of course, because she's just like that. She literally says, "This is your fault, and I trusted you." What? What? Why blame him? He didn't know this was gonna happen. I guess he's the one that told them to do this, but told them to come there and save you all. But why blame Bellamy? He's didn't do anything wrong, Octavia. I guess you're just a sociopath that you literally will blame anyone but yourself. Actually, more, this isn't her fault, but so yeah. So Manny's like, hey, why do we have to lie, Clark? And she's like, because if we tell the truth, they'll find out that you're real Nightblood, and they'll try to ascend you to the role of commander, overthrowing Octavia, and Octavia won't like that. So they have to lie and say that Clark used her bone marrow to turn into a Nightblood. That's the lie. But of course, Indra's daughter, who is now Octavia's second in command, or Octavia's flame keeper, decides to, finds this suspicious, and she decides to team up with Bellamy to basically. She decides to team up with Bellamy to basically. Decides to team up with Bellamy to basically use the have Maddie become the new commander to lead the team against Octavia. But Clark is not having this. She will not let Bellamy do this. But what does Bellamy do? He decides to knock her out. Yeah. Meanwhile, with Octavia is becoming too bit of an evil villain this season. So Bellamy decides to poison her, to knock her, put her into a coma. So when they get into the Shadow Valley, they will, peace, because Octavia wants war. So they decide they want to fight for Shadow Valley, and when it becomes theirs, they will win. But Bellamy didn't think this through, because immediately after that, Octavia wakes up. She was supposed to be in coma for like a day, but immediately after that, she just wakes up and is like her brother poisoned her. But Indra decides to fight. Decides to fight for Bellamy, and yeah, because they keep talking about this dark year that happened. So yeah, so whatever that means. So what happens is that they have this. So meanwhile, what happens is that they decided to give May the Flame Keeper based on Clark's wishes. So Clark decides to, when Clark finds this out, she decides to basically be like, yeah, Bellamy, crap you and all your problems. I'm taking my girl and running out of there. But Maddie's not having this. She doesn't want to leave her friends and Clark's family behind. But Clark's like, yeah, we are leaving. So Maddie decides to be a child and fight. Decides to fight Clark's wishes, because she is a child, but she's also she's the new head now, so she's the new commander now. So yeah, so Clark decides to basically be like, hey, yeah, Maddie has all these nightmares about like Lexa and Becca Promahida, but Clark's like, hey, if you want me to take it, I can. And she's like, no, let me have these. So meanwhile, back with our other cast members, Bellamy gets arrested for trying to kill Octavia, and he's supposed to fight Gaia and Indra. He's supposed to fight Gaia and Indra. But then as they're about to do it, they're about to fight, and Monty comes in, basically like, hey guys, there's no reason to fight. We have these algae that can save our lives. So Octavia decides to bolt out of there and, basically burn up basically turn Monty's green algae farm on fire. And then she's like, we're going to war. And then they just do it. Like, they don't, like, we never get to see the outcome of Bellamy versus Indra versus Gaia. They're just like, okay, Octavia, we'll go to war with you. What? You just went to do a battle between Octavia, Bellamy, and Indra. Between Bellamy, Indra, and Indra's daughter Gaia. But beyond Monty just coming in saying, hey, we have a better solution, you burning the solution, you're just like, yeah, let's forget that whole battle thing. That no one even brings this up. No one's just like, oh, hey, no one even brings this up, like saying, oh, hey, we have this problem. But back with our main cast members, Diyoza has decided to become a good person now because she's pregnant with Mercury's baby. Yeah, she and Mercury got did dirty off screen. Now she's pregnant with his baby. But Mercury's kind of become a little bit evil now, as he takes command after Diyoza leaves, and he. So Clark decides to go back, and that's when. That's when her mom was overdosing on drugs. Clark found out, and Clark found out, and wasn't happy that her mom was taking drugs. So she decided to, but basically Abby decides to be a bad guy now, and basically turns against Clark, basically saying, hey Maggie, everything that Clark has done, she thinks she's protecting you, but she's really not. And she's like, and then Maggie stands up for Clark, saying, yo, you wrong. Clark's only talked about you as a caring, loving mom. How could you go against your own daughter and then try to trash her? You go, Maddie. I don't know why they tried to do this whole, ooh, we have to have Abby say bad things about Clark. For some odd reason, it's weird. It's a weird storyline. So they decided to. So yeah, but that's when the Dr. Abby was giving the drugs to shows up, and he was searching for her before, but he and Kane get into a fight where he bites Kane. No, not Kane. We lost Jaha this season because of a injury. We can't lose Kane too. Yeah, we lost Jaha in the previous flashback, in the episode 2, in the flashback. So yeah. So then in the Dark Year, we learn what actually happened in the Dark Year. They had to eat human remains, and they were all up to it except for Kane, who wasn't up to eating the lives of human remains. But then there was this guy that decided that he didn't want to eat his brother. So Octavia basically went on a shooting spree, basically shooting anyone who'd stand up. She would basically eat or die. But then everyone went until Bell, and I think that was the start of Octavia turning evil. So he decides to eat it, and it's like, that guy's brother tasted good. Ew. So he doesn't really say that, but Maggie would lead them into the charge, because they basically look towards her as the new Hedda. So yeah, lead them into the charge because Octavia had that realization, and so Octavia basically decides to bow to new Hedda Maggie, and everyone decides to bow to new Hedda Maggie. So they decide to attack. So they decide to attack. Meanwhile, Clark's on the prison ship, basically being like, hey, Mercury, I need to see Diyoza. So she basically knocks her out. Yeah, knocking her out. Boom! Knocking out the prison guard. Whoa, knocking out the prison guard. They knock out the prison guard, and boom, she's knocked out. But then Mercury revealed, they're like, hey, I need to get Diyoza. But then Mercury's like, yo, boom. Yeah, there's also been this pilot named Shaw, who was on Deo's side, but then he kind of revealed himself to be on Raven's team. So yeah, so Raven's like, so Clark's like, hey, pilot the ship. But then Raven's like, what about Maddie? What about our friends? But then Clark's like, yeah, nah, boom, and she's like, I'm sorry, you never get to see your daughter. Boom, kills McCurry. Yeah, Clark's a badass when it comes to like, so yeah, so King, so yeah. So Clark decides to get back down to Earth. But they're looking for her mom because her mom's currently stitching up Kane. Maggie tells Bellamy how Clark was the only person she could think about after the 6 years, and about how he was the only one she was calling during those 6 years. So this basically makes him think, me and Clark? But he's also in a relationship with Echo, So, meanwhile, Octavia decides to go get Clark's mom, but Clark's mom, yeah, there's no way I'm going out without Kane. So that's when they decide to bring Kane with them. So, back on the ship, they all hang out when Bellamy reveals that, hey, they could use the cryo chambers to go to sleep for 10 years. Go to sleep for 10 years and wake up in a new world. So they all do that. Clark says goodnight to Maddie, says goodnight to all of them. But then Clark wakes up. And Bellamy wakes up. And then they see this brand new guy here. And he reveals himself to be Monty and Harper's son, Jordan Green. And he reviews a video from Monty about how, about basically, all of his life. About how he and Harper decided to not be in cryo, how they eventually had a son. They decided to have a son, Jordan Jasper Green. And, yeah, after Jasper, apparently, because Monty really loved that guy. And maybe too much. Just kidding. They were not gay for each other. But Monty loves that guy. So, yeah. But then, so they decided to put their son in cryo for 97 years as they would grow old. Harper would die of a genetic disease that her dad had, which we never saw her dad. So, and then Monty was then, so then Monty tells Jordan about the fact is that his mom died. Then Monty grows old 50 years later and tells everyone that he finally cracked on a new planet. Then Monty passes away from old age. But then we see a final shot of Clark and Bellamy and Jordan looking at this new planet. And that's where season 5 kind of ends. Wow. That was a good ending. Monty and Harper died off screen. Monty and Harper are dead. Clark and Bellamy and the others are gonna have to live with that. I liked Monty. He was an interesting character. It's kind of sad that he decided not to go in cryo, and he and Harper spent the rest of their lives together as Harper died of a genetic disorder, and then her dad at 73, and then Monty would finally pass away at, I think, 70 something. I don't know. So now the characters are like 100 years old, apparently. 103 years old chronologically, but they're still like 20 birthologically. Because birthologically, this guy's meant to be 20. Harper and Monty's son is 26 birthologically, but he's like 123 years, 25 or 23 years old chronologically. So yeah, that was the ending of season 5. Hopefully now that we only got two more seasons left of this show, then the new show. that I'm gonna be starting. And you guys might want to wait for that because that show is gonna be good. I don't want to reveal. If you want me to reveal it right now, I'll just say I might be starting Supernatural. Yeah, I might be starting to watch Supernatural. Me and my dad might be starting to watch Supernatural after we're done this show. So if you want, so check out the Supernatural seasonal reviews when they come. So yeah, that was the end of season 5. Hopefully season 6 can improve with this whole time of 125 years plot. And Abby is finally done off the drugs. So Octavia finally redeemed herself. Abby's done off the drugs. And I thought they were, and did they kill off Indra's daughter? Because did they kill off Indra's daughter? Are we gonna see Indra's daughter ever again? Because for some reason we thought that she was gonna kill her off, but then she had a will to live. And then Maddie basically led them into battle. So, you know. So anyway, that's it with Vale, and I'll see you next time for more 100.